Tell us a little bit about what this event was like today.
I think it was a wonderful event. I think it's always good when people come together to talk about economic development and economic power. And so especially when people take it off on their time to really talk about money, because this economy has hurt so many people. So it's important that we not just talk about it, but find out strategies to be better with your own money.
Yeah, and you not only talked about empowerment, but you shared a lot of personal stories. Is that typical of how you relate to people on financial issues?
Well, yeah, I think when you speak from your own experiences, people can appreciate it, and they love stories. I think it's great when you can be a storyteller. Money can be really difficult to grasp for people. Lots of people, when they hear that there's going to be a money talk, their eyes kind of roll and think, oh, God, this is going to be boring, and, it's going to go over my head. So I try to do it in a way that engages people, and people love stories.
Of your personal stories, what do you think is the one that you share the most, that people relate to the most?
Oh my, let's see. I think mostly just about my grandmother. I think she serves as an example that you don't need to make a lot of money to make do. She lived on, $13,000 a year, and she was able to raise all of us, and we never went hungry. We were never shoeless. We didn't have a whole lot of stuff. And she's just always been my inspiration for someone who could take a little bit of money and make it stretch. And she never said, oh, if I made more money, she just said, let me make better, let me make do with what I have. And that's always been my inspiration.
Okay, and as I said, I was going to try out the fasting that you had talked about, the economic fasting. Can you give us just a very brief run through of what that is again?
Well, it's based on my book, The Power to Prosper, 21 Days to Financial Freedom. And in the book, every day I take you through a different financial principle. It's biblically based, so it starts off with scripture. And for 21 days, you don't buy anything that's not a necessity, and you can't use credit cards and debit cards. And the idea is to get you to think about how you're using your money by shutting down your shopping. And people just have been so delivered when they do this fast, and they realize they really do have more money than they think.
And what would be some advice you have for me going into this? You've probably talked to a lot of people that have done this at this point.
It's get an accountability partner. First of all, you've got to get the book, because it's not just about stopping your shopping and credit card use. It's about changing your attitude about money. So you get the book and do it along with someone else, because it is tough to do. And you're going to need to be able to call someone to talk you out of going shopping.
Were there any stories people told you about fasting that really stood out? I know you mentioned a couple there. What really stands out to you?
I think when I hear from particularly single parents who are, they're living paycheck to paycheck, who didn't think they had any money in their budget, and they did the fast and found that they did have money that they could save. And so one, single mother who started the fast and changed her financial life, she was able to pay off like $10,000 in credit card debt over 18 months, something she didn't think she could ever do. And so it really warms my heart when people say that they do the fast and they realize they really can do more with their money.
Okay, and last question. If there was one message you wanted people to take away from this event and from your speech here today, what would that be?
I think always the one question my grandmother said is that when you go buy something, just always ask yourself, is this a need or is this a want?
Well, thank you so much for taking the time.